evening. I am so sorry for how late our chat is tonight. If you are catching the replay and have any questions on flourishes, please feel free to send me a message on Twitter or Instagram or on Facebook, where I'm at CreativLEI or /CreativLEI there as well. Good evening. So we are back at home. We are back in the house. I'm still kind of bundled up. Thank you, Terry Lynn. Thank you. I am cold. It was freezing outside tonight, so I'm leaving my hat on. I took my scarf off though. It's cold out there. Thank you, Samson, Brittany, hi. Yeah, it was kind of a crazy night. We had a soccer game tonight. Usually our games are on Saturday nights, but because last week we had a referee issue, they moved the game to tonight. So it's just all chaos. And then I had to get the children out to get pumpkins for tomorrow. So thank you guys for being so patient. I know for those of you that are on the East Coast like me, this is incredibly late. Hi, Debbie. So here I am. I'm here and I'm ready to talk about flourishing with your brush pens. Awesome. You guys are so awesome for sharing on Twitter. Thank you so much. I know probably people are wondering what is going to happen. Brittany, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that tonight is so late. Did you have any specific questions on flourishing that I can address before you have to head out? Nancy got her Fudenosuke pens. That's awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. I love my hat. This is a slouchy hat. It's hand spun yarn and hand knit, and I love when the weather turns cold and I get to wear it. I don't know that I'm exactly a hat person, but I really don't care because I like it. For those of you that might be joining for the first time, my name is Lisa. I blog at CreativLEI. It's looking at life creatively. And the month of October, and we are extending it 1 week because of how late we are. Hi, Paula. So we have been doing a Love Your Lettering challenge. We started at the very basics. We talked about our natural handwriting and ways to improve our handwriting by going back to the basics and doing basic strokes and using all those little elements to help our handwriting improve. And it was not a course on learning how to write like Lisa does. It was a course on learning how to learn the techniques to make your handwriting something that you're proud to use, whether it's in writing notes or journaling in your Bible or just anything, just loving your letters. Love your lettering. That's what we've done. So tonight is our last official lesson of brush lettering. And we were talking about, oh, thanks, Brittany. Have a good night. Today we were talking about flourishing. We've been going through the brush pen basics throughout the week. Yesterday we did modern calligraphy, and so one other way to step up your lettering is with flourishes. We learned flourishes a little bit with the calligraphy pen last week, and a lot, if you kind of looked back, because I'm sure that you did, if you look back you saw that a lot of the flourishes that I use are the same, except when you use a brush pen it's going to give you just a little bit of a different look. So I'm here tonight as our nightly chat to answer any questions or demonstrate the techniques that might be a little harder to show just in the photo tutorial or in typing out the words, because doing it live would be awesome. If I could meet you guys for coffee and we could bring our pens and our paper, that would absolutely be my preferred way to teach this. But in the meantime, we'll make use of Periscope because that's kind of the next best thing. So I will flip the camera and I'll set it into the tripod and we'll get to busy doing some flourishes. So I know lots of you guys have gotten Tombow pens, and I'm sure, or at least I hope, you're seeing why those Fudenosuke pens are my favorite. You're going to start driving now? That would be awesome. I would love to have like a big paper and lettering meetup. That would be incredibly cool. You got on Amazon today looking for the Tombow pens. Yeah, they really are. For the money, they are some of the better pens that you can buy. They're not very expensive, but they just work beautifully and they're reliable, which is nice. And they are the Fudenosuke pens, which have mostly Japanese writing on them, all with the exception of the Tombow name. The 10-pack of color is different. Those are different pens. Those are the dual brush pens. And now you can use these for creative lettering. However, this is a broad brush and it's a felt tip, so it works a bit different than the soft and hard tip of the Fudenosuke pens. So I'll just hold them side by side. So you can see right away, like, and it's not going to focus because it's way too close. But this little tip produces these beautiful hairlines. And this you can get thin, but not quite as thin as that hairline. So you have to make yourself put them down when regular writing. I actually like doing regular writing in them. I'm going to probably put up a post about how I do my layout in my planner for my weekly layout. And I'm going to definitely use the brush pen for that. So here was the sample page that I had on today's post. Sorry, my tripod's a little wonky tonight. And then what I told you might be helpful is using the pencil just to kind of loosen up your hand. Use the pencil today and not the Pitt pen. And that is perfectly fine because the Pitt pen, like I said, you can do brush lettering with it, but you really have to work that pen, or at least I do. So the pencil really kind of helps you just remember that you need to do, add the pressure when you're on the downstrokes, and then you're going really light on the upstrokes. And the pencil will show that. And it's just a good way to warm up your hand muscles, like just doing lots of spirals, doing loops, doing these figure eights or infinity signs, whatever you want to call them, because all those things are actually the elements of the flourishes. So it's not like it's useless exercise. This is actually what you need to do. They fit you good? Good. We've got Spider-Man in the house. Sorry. We are definitely up way too late over here. Oh, I hope it's not me. I'm like the only one on right now because my husband's not home, but it could be my connection. Is it blurry or is it freezing? Yeah, we've got Spider-Man. So, oh goodness. I wonder if it's me. If you jump out and jump back in, can you see if it's just as bad? If it's blurry for everyone, then I will stop this broadcast and come right back on again. Okay. Why don't we just do, okay, so Amber says it's good, but everyone, oh no, Christy says good too. Okay, so maybe it's me. All right, so let's get to work then. Everybody's better. Awesome. Yeah, I see hearts, so I'm assuming that you guys are seeing good stuff. Okay. If it gets really blurry and if that's a consensus, thanks, Amy. If it's a consensus that everybody's getting blurry, then we'll end the broadcast and jump back on, because that will be better than trying to show flourishes in blurry. Would not be good. Okay. You just had to say it to fix it. See, we are powerful. All right. So I'll go back to the basics just to show you some of the different things. So I'm going to use pencil first. So lots of loops, because then you'll start to just practice, like when it's going. Show my henna real quickly. So this is the most recent. I've got a heart and a couple fingertips, and a flower. And then this is from last Friday, so this is actually almost a week old, and it's still pretty good. So there's that. And if those of you that watched while I scoped my daughter's henna, hers really darkened up really nice. Flourish, yeah. Did I? Oh, I'm like, wait a minute, did I spell it wrong? I got nervous for a minute. So yeah, our henna is darkening up beautifully. We enjoy this artwork, and I'm actually looking into the history of it more. I know we had a small discussion about that on Instagram the other day, and it really piqued my interest. And so I started asking around to learn more about the history and the culture behind henna, because of course it's identified with Indian and Middle Eastern culture, so I want to understand more so that I don't accidentally offend by my artistic use of it. So I'm doing some research, because that's what we should do. So back to lettering, because I can go out on a tangent, especially on a Friday night late. So, more flourishing. So I sometimes use loops when I'm starting capital letters, and then sometimes on the ascending stuff, I might get a little crazy with loops on there. So just lots of loops and spirals just to kind of get the feel for how things can flow. Because while it's great to do the stops and starts on the letters to make sure that you're getting that heavy downline, you don't want to stop and start on a flourish, because if you lose that flow, it kind of loses the effect. And so so you want to warm up your hand. And so that you kind of, once you put that pen down, you're kind of committed to finish the stroke. So the more you practice different ones, the better. So on my sample page, I showed a couple of different things. Like this is something that I would typically do leading into a capital letter. Like this could easily become a U, a W, a V. That could be the start of a Y. This could have been an ascending flourish on a K, a D. Even a B would look good because I would just loop that over there. So that's one thing to do for your ascending letters. For the descending letters, could you see that this might be a J? It could be a P. Why am I thinking? It could be a G. I'm like, what are the descending letters? It's Friday night, girls. How did I do this one? So I would start with the stem that's descending, and then I would come up, go back down, and then I loop around and cross it this way. So I would actually, that looks very similar to what I did for the F as well, if you notice that. This one? Okay, so first I did the stem, and then I went back and I came up and around and over and through. Oh, sorry, Christy. Maybe I'll still be back on once you get things settled, because I know this kind of technique might have a tendency to go a little long. So that's how, this is actually two parts. This would be the initial stroke would be the stem, and then I would come back to add the flourish. I usually don't add the flourishes until I have the word written out. So sometimes I may leave the letters somewhat undone so that I have room to flourish. I know, I hope so too. It's a Friday night. Don't they know they need to be cooperative? So like the H, I might just leave this last part undone and then go back and finish the flourish when I have the whole word complete. I will show that process.
How do you do a V in cursive?
How do I do a V? It depends on the word. So I just wanted to show you some of the examples before I started writing out words. So this would be a lowercase s. And then the T and the H are always a fun one to connect. All right, so let's get started. Okay, I need you to get your pajamas on, please. Take this off like I asked you to, and please put your pajamas on.
You have little holes in your nostrils.
Yeah, you can breathe just fine. It's not covering your nose or your eyes. But please take it off for now and hang it back up. Otherwise, it's not going to be ready for tomorrow.
Okay. Lisa's just admiring her costume. She's
So
just looking at
we'll go back to that. We'll go back to that ascending one first. So I would do, let's see, let's write ask. Oh, and forget it, I messed that one up, because since I looped it this way, I did not leave myself room for a flourish unless I came back through to here and did that. But that, to me, looks busy. I've got two weighted lines that are crossing, so it's not quite as pretty. So that's it. I didn't listen to myself. Let's try that again. Okay. So instead of looping it like I normally would, like I did over here, to do an ascending flourish, I would come back and go around and up. So there's one way to do it.
What do you use this pen for?
It's the same type of pen.
Oh. They always put the sparkles on the case, so it's like, are these really sparkly?
So here's a D, kind of the same thing. I would kind of compensate for where I didn't taper it there, and then come back around and add it there. I didn't leave myself enough room there. So as you can see, it doesn't always come easy to me either. I have to think about it. When you're flourishing, you really do have to think about your spacing.
So are you going to go like a little bit into November for this?
Yeah. Okay, so now here's the descender. I'm writing easy. So I would come down like I normally would. I will do hello. Okay, and so then here we'll go like that and then back through. And I know a lot of you have started using this one already. This is kind of a good one to start with. So let's go with hello. So I've got a nice ascender, so I'm going to leave that without the loop so that I can go back. And now I have the two L's together. So I'm going to make a flourish out of them. So I'm going to stagger them a little bit. I leave those ascending heights different. Okay, so we've got that. Now I would come back through, and so sometimes I will air sketch it out to see where I'm going with it before I put the pen down. So I'm going to go like that, and then I'm probably going to loop down there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so up, down, down. So I can do that. And then I can also go back and add that on the H. So it would really depend on where the word would be, what the negative space around it is, how I want to play with it. So when you have the double letters, you can start to add interest that way. And a lot of it is just playing. Thanks, guys. It's just about experimenting, because sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Just got to try. Thank you. Air sketch like air guitar. Yeah, because once you put the pen on the paper with a flourish, you're kind of committed to finish that. Right, love? You want to sign your husband's card. Awesome. Okay. So that would probably be a capital L. But let's see. We were going to go down like this. That's one way to do it. This could have looped back down, but I kind of like it up like that. So I break rules with letters. I sometimes will connect them, sometimes I won't. Woo! Sorry. That is not going to help our blurry issues, is it? Sorry, my little tabletop tripod. Yeah, I always do, because I'm trying to get my spacing and to give myself an idea of how I want the letters to flow. So I agree with you, and I say rock on with the air sketching, because it helps to get the feel for where you're going to place those letters down. What is your name, Hopeful Mom? I feel like I should know it, but I don't. No, I didn't fall off the chair. I have a little tabletop tripod that sits in front of me when I'm writing, but it's not really the most stable thing. But my big tripod is too high for these things, because then I can't look at the phone while I do it. Do I sell signatures for blogs? I haven't done that. I need help digitizing them. Jessica, it's nice to meet you. I need help digitizing them because that's where I kind of get stuck. I am a paper and pen artist and I struggle with the digital. I would love to convert some of my writing into fonts because I'd love to use my own fonts on my blog. Terry, you can help? Please send me a message because that would be super awesome. Frozen screen and bad connection. Oh no! I don't know. I think maybe Periscope is having Halloween Eve fits and not being friendly to us. Thanks, Terry. That would be awesome. Any other words or things that you guys would like to see? So when I have an H that comes at the end of the word, let's see. I used flourish before, but what other words end in an H? Church. You just scanned some words today. Awesome. So you can make on the bottom of the H when it's at the end of the word. That wouldn't look so good here because then it wouldn't. I don't think it would. But you can do it on the end. Hallelujah and Christmas. Okay. So Amber wants to see her name. What?
Evan's costume.
Do I not want to know?
No, it's funny.
Oh, goodness.
No, Evan, don't put those on yet. You have to show Mom the tights. So is it Miss Amber branded?
No.
What do you want to do with all these receipts? Because I know that I'm this.
Huh? Just leave them. I need those. So there's Amber. Yeah, no, Spider-Man, I've already seen his costume. Apparently, oh, is it? And sometimes I do, oh, that's not bad. Those pants are too big. Are those yours?
They're supposed to be baggy.
Are they Dad's?
Yeah, I think I'm going to wear a belt with them.
You're going to need a belt. If you have rope, that would be good.
Leggings.
Sorry, we have,
Ridiculous.
costume try-ons here.
It's a costume Friday.
Okay.
Costume Friday.
Okay. Shh. Quiet down, guys. Okay. So let's see. I'm just kind of out of room on that one.
No, they have a series.
I don't know. Hopefully it's in the package. Can you look in there? Sorry, we're trying to figure out where the back of my stylus is. Okay. What was the other word? Here we go.
Trying to sort some of this stuff.
Just be careful because I don't want all those things put away. I know, usually they're sleeping by the time I get on Periscope, but since we had the soccer game and then we went shopping, they are still awake.
They spent way too much money.
Mm-hmm. They wanted pumpkins to carve. I did not spell that right.
What?
I feel like I didn't spell that right.
Listen.
Hallelujah? That word never looks right to me. But I think it is right. It's just weird. Okay, Merry Christmas.
We should do Halloween. Okay.
Okay, it's right. I know, it just doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right. I think the U, I don't know. It just, I double check it all the time. There is a fly on my phone. So I'm going to leave that undone because I'm going to go back and see how I can flourish that. I double check Isaiah all the time too. That's one of my friend's sons. So I did these a little too close. There should have been more negative space between these.
Is this for Frankie and Dana?
Yeah, I left that home though. So I already bought them a different card. Okay. So like another way, I probably would have done this in pencil first and to see if I could connect the Y and the H, or the Y could have crossed the T. It's something I would play with the layout in pencil first. So if you're going to do word art, I highly suggest sketching out in pencil first. And then probably I would go back and this fly is going to go right into my mouth. I can just tell.
That happened to me at the Fall Fest when I was on the big swings.
That's gross.
I got a gnat in my mouth.
So I'd probably add another one over there.
What's
Oh my goodness, stop. Sorry, I'm being attacked by a fly. Okay. What kind of pen am I using for these? Okay. This is the Tombow Fudenosuke soft tip, and it has the dark gray or black barrel. So this is one of my go-to pens. I also like the hard tip, and that has a blue barrel. So these two are the two pens that I grab most often. There are other brush pens or pocket brush pens that are similar, but these are the two that I tend to use the most. I find that they're very reliable, and I have multiples of them. So those are the ones I grab the most. Is there anything else that I can show you guys for tonight? I know it's late. I've got to get these children into bed. They want to carve pumpkins tomorrow. You didn't miss them. Jet pen and a water brush too. That's awesome. Yes, thankful. Let's do thankful, especially because we're coming into Thanksgiving.
I have a little puppy here.
Okay. So someone was asking me earlier today, I think it was not Nancy, it might have been Nancy. Someone had messaged me on Facebook, and I said I would talk about it tonight. She says she's not getting the weighted lines until she's already halfway down the letter. And so I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain starting that weighting. Okay, so there we go. Nancy, it was you. Awesome. Okay, so Nancy, getting the weight at the top of the letter. So let's see. I'm going to just do some squiggles to show you. No, it's not Miss Nancy from church. I actually start off pretty heavy right from the top. So I would, in order to practice that, I would do a couple of these downstrokes where you're really starting heavy on the top line. You're not starting on the tip and then working down. You're actually starting pretty heavy right from the top. See if that helps at all. If anyone, I don't know if anybody else was dealing with the same thing, but if you're starting at the tip and then tapering down, you're probably not getting the exact look that you're going for. So you don't want that. I think what you want to do is when you're starting that top of that letter, the pen is already kind of in that down position. Does that make sense at all, Nancy? So even like with the A, I'm pretty much okay. Oh, good. So, yeah. So try a couple of these type of strokes and see if that helps. You're bad when the line thins. So down towards the base. So sometimes I'm like physically moving my hand up. I don't know if it's easy. It might not be easy to see, but I'm definitely pulling the pen off the paper to get that line up. So even up here, okay, I'm going to go to the back so we can do that again. All right, so let's see. So ladies that are having issues with the weight of the line, getting the smooth line is going to come with time. So not all of mine are. My top start is different than yours. Righties and lefties, same flourish, same starting position. Okay, so of course my right hand is not going to be as neat. So let's see if I can get this. You're going to start heavy and then pick the pen up a bit. You should still be able to get heavy on that top part. So, of course, my right hand is a lot more shaky than my left hand, but still, let's see, I need to, okay, there we go. I didn't practice with my right hand today. So. Starting heavier, yeah. How about your Y? Is that easier to start heavier on the Y? So, mine is shaky because it's definitely not my natural hand. Okay, so letters like the A would be the difficulty. So my pen is bent to how I write. So let me see if I can use one that I don't use quite as often, if that will help me. Okay, so down, up, down, up, down. So, and I apologize. I am definitely shaky with the right hand, but I'm hoping to try and get the Fudenosuke is easier. The soft tip should allow you to kind of put that pressure down right from the top. Maybe some of these type of lines would help. So those are a little shaky, shaky hills, but if you see the up. Oh, Elisa, I got on very late. I didn't get on until like 11 o'clock. We were out at a soccer game. It's not that I haven't been on since 10 or 10:30. I'm just trying to catch up a little bit here. Okay, and a lot of it does take time. Of course, we moved through brush lettering at like light speed this week with just 5 lessons. But this is just kind of to introduce you to the pens and what are some ways to use them for improving the lettering. Oh, okay. Explaining the henna. Yeah, it's temporary. It's not permanent, but I do notice that my, oh, thank you, Christy's little one. My little one now grabs pens and writes on herself because she sees mommy do it with henna. Finding it hard to transition between the thick and the thin, keep doing the exercises with the pencils. Because, let's see, let me cap these. Okay. Because with the pencil, you're not worrying about ruining the pen tip, but you can really concentrate on kind of grazing the paper on the upstroke and adding the pressure on the downstroke. So you can barely even see those upstrokes. Sorry, my nose is sniffly. Colored brush pen. I don't have a colored brush pen, actually. Oh. Like these? Does it have to be a regular pencil? Seem to have only mechanical. As long as the lead is kind of soft and blunt, you should be able to do it. Like this is just a regular number 2 pencil, but the edge now is kind of blunt. So I can do it with that. It's a harder lead, but it'll still go. Let's see. This is the Target Dollar Spot pencil. Let me see. I just want to get the edge blunt first a little bit, because it definitely helps to not have a really sharp edge. So it's hard to, you might not be able to see the variation on the camera, but I can certainly feel it. And yeah, you can see that the upstroke is lighter there. So that's just a regular number 2 lead in a mechanical pencil from the Target Dollar Spot. The downstrokes, I do go slower on those because I want to make sure that I kind of keep even pressure. And then the upstrokes, because I don't want to overthink them, I do tend to almost like a wrist flick, I guess would be the best way to describe it. As for colored brush pens, I do have a set of the Tombow pens because I have pretty much a rainbow of them. I know that there are other brands that make them. I have a harder time getting hairlines with this because it probably does change the pressure a little bit. Sorry, my nose is sniffly. So I have to really kind of pick the pen up. So my hand position changes a little bit to be able to get the hairline with this pen. And I have to go slower. But these are fun because they layer. So you can kind of add details that way. Yes, this is the Tombow dual brush. Dual color brush, I think it is. So it's a broad brush on one side and a bullet tip on the other. Going slow is hard. It really is. Because I definitely don't want to go slow, but I notice that sometimes when I go too fast, I end up getting a broader upstroke, which is not what I want. Sorry, I need to blow my nose. Sorry. My 2.5-year-old lovingly shared her cold with me. Any similar colored pens with a tip similar to the Furunosuke? I do not know. Honestly, I can't answer that accurately because I've not tested out very many of the color pens, because most of my lettering art I tend to do in black unless I'm doing it on a canvas and then I'm using a paintbrush and acrylic paints. I I did not know that the sign pen came in colors. That is good information. What is your name? Laura, thank you. So I didn't realize that. So this is the, whoops, oh, goodness, I keep bumping into the tripod. Sorry. So the Pentel sign pen with the brush tip, Laura says is available in color, and I will have to look that up because that would be pretty fun. This tip is very similar to the, okay, on the Jet Pen site. See, now I'm going to need a Jet Pen order. So this tip tends to be very similar to the Tombow pen, the Furunosuke tip, which is really, it's nice. It's a nice tip. So if that comes in color, that would be a great option. So I'm going to knock this tripod over again by accident. Oops. I'm sorry, we're having all sorts of technical issues here tonight, aren't we? Alright, so here, this will be kind of the 2-minute warning before I close the broadcast. If you had anything else that you wanted to see tonight, of course tomorrow will be it's our weekend, our normal weekend for catching up and finding inspiration. So I will just be putting up a link with the links to my Pinterest board where I collect all lettering goodies. Sorry. Whoop. So I'll put up the regular weekend post kind of recapping the week and links to my lettering board on Pinterest. Sorry. Very stuffy. And then on Sunday, of course, use the techniques from this week to letter a quote or use the pengram sentences. You don't like weekends without me. I will probably be scoping tomorrow afternoon. It will not be lettering related. It will probably be Halloween related, explaining our families, kind of how we participate, not participate, that type of thing. Because Halloween is actually the night that I met my husband, so we don't just ignore the holiday. So that's just us. So tomorrow afternoon, I will be talking about that. Pangram sentences are sentences that involve every letter of the alphabet. So one of the most common ones used for penmanship is the quick brown fox jumps over a lazy dog. And so it has every one of the 26 letters at least once. What time Monday since 2 topics? I don't know yet. Maybe we'll have to do Sunday evening. Hi, planners and tattoos. Remind me of your first name. It was fun to connect with you. Tiffany, right? I think you're Tiffany. So this Monday, since we actually have 2 things, because it will be our first envelope, and then we will have we'll begin our last week of Love Your Lettering for the 31-day series. So we'll have to think of times. Probably I'll just stagger them by a little bit just so that they're separate recordings. Thank you. I'm hoping with a little bit of vitamin C this weekend that I will kind of pull out of this quickly. So it depends. Depends on how much more my little one wants to share. So that's it. I will definitely... What pen do I use for envelopes? I'm going to use different pens for envelopes, but there will be pens that we've already used in this series, so it will give you more use of what you already have. If you've purchased pens or have dug through your pen stash or scrapbook stash and pulled out like all the pens to use during this month-long series, then you already have what you need for envelopes. So, and you might have some other things in the house that we'll use too. We shall see. But that'll be, there's no supply list really. I'm just going to be showing techniques on how to decorate an envelope. Glaze pens. Oh yeah. I believe Tuesday is when we'll do that. I will post times on Facebook once I figure that out. We don't have soccer tomorrow, so I will be able to get some time to get that done. A larger pen bag. Yeah, so do I. I always need to find a larger pen bag. I have a sew together bag which has the 3 zippered pockets and that holds my Bible study pens, but I always have another pencil case for some of my black pens. Yeah, the glaze pens, I believe we'll be using Tuesday. But it's not an in-depth. Clear or white will work because I will probably be doing it right in my notebook. So yeah, the sew together bag is it's a good one. If you know how to sew, I definitely recommend the pattern. Do I journal Bible? Yes, I do. But most of my entries are not really art focused. I'll do creative lettering, and every once in a while I'll put a drawing in there. I know I've got a photo bomber. I'm not sure what he's doing. Okay, you're gonna lose that. Goodness. So in my journaling Bible, I mostly do lettering. I don't do a whole lot of art. I don't cover the text because my Bibles I hope to pass down to my children, and I want them to be able to read the whole Word of God and see what my notes from it are, but not necessarily illuminating the verses. Pattern for the bag, where can you get it? It is on Craftsy. I will put up, if you are on Rhonda, if you are on the Facebook group, I'll put up a link on there. Thank you. So yeah, so I'm pretty picky about my journaling Bible a little bit. I wrote a blog post about it because I wanted people who are not artists to not be afraid to get that Bible because I think it's a wonderful resource. It's got so much margin room. So here's my sew together bag. It's my rainbow bag. Facebook /CreativLEI, I believe it is. And that is my blog's Facebook page. You can find it. I link to it from the blog. But yeah, so I'll put a link up on there, or if you are on Twitter, I can tweet you a link. So this is the sew together bag. I know this is not lettering related, but it is pen related. So let me flip the camera. That will be better, and I'll take it out of the tripod. The nose shot. So yeah, here's my tiny tripod that I constantly knock over, but it's the perfect height for lettering. Okay, so the sew together bag is a series of pockets and zippers, and it's really just the method of putting it together that creates this awesomeness. So it's like all assembly line type stuff. So once you have the pattern, and okay, I am holding the pen in my mouth. Okay, sorry. The things we do. So it has, where did I find the black and white fabric? Hobby Lobby. So I need to do an apron with this pattern too. Right, so this should have been a separate scope. I need to do a journaling Bible scope again. Okay, so this one is almost empty. This is usually where my black and gray pens sit for going to church. Okay, then on the insides, the parts that don't have a zipper, I keep my mono eraser that has the sand and the rubber. That stays in this bag. There's usually a pair of scissors in here, but I think they're in the pickle. This is a washi tape sampler, because sometimes I do use washi tape for page flags. These are friction markers, which are erasable markers, and that's what I use for my inductive study marks and also for lettering in there. I often keep my water pens in here. These are just the plastic bobbins from like embroidery floss. They hold the washi tape perfectly, and it's just around a key ring. So my water pens usually stay in this pocket that doesn't have a zipper, but they're out because I'm doing the sample pages. And then in the third pocket, I have all my fine liner pens that, oh, thank you, Terry. All these things are on your wish list for Christmas. Yeah, they're fun. I do like these pens, the Staedtler fine liners. You guys all need to move to Maryland. These are Staedtler fine liners. I like them because they don't really bleed through. So those stay in there, and then that's just the other side. And so I did it kind of rainbow, Roy G. Biv. I rainbow everything. But yeah. Florida is warmer. It is. Do you know I was born in Florida? I was born in Hollywood, but my parents didn't like being away from the north and didn't like not having seasons. So that's the Sew Together bag. I did make this one. I've made it. This was the second or third one that I made because the first time I used the wrong interfacing. It was too stiff. This was my first trial into zippers, and it was tricky, but I did follow a tutorial. I'll just have to find that link. I thought that I had that on Pinterest somewhere, so I'll have to look for that and give you guys the link to that pin, because the tutorial was great. It brought me through step by step, because I am just a novice sewer. I am not very proficient at the sewing machine. It would not be economical to sell the bags because the cost of putting them together and then putting in a price for the workmanship, because it did take a few hours, and then the cost of all the zippers kind of make it so that it's really something that wouldn't be very affordable, I don't think, at least. You'd rather just buy it than try to sew it? Oh, man. I'll have to look. I'll have to see if she has cottage licensing, because sometimes patterns that are written by small businesses, they have kind of rules on what you can sell from their patterns. Here's my traveler's notebook for Bible journaling. I told you, we have gone astray from lettering. But this is my traveler's notebook for Bible journaling and Bible study. So this holds all my my keyword symbol index and my Moleskines that I do Bible study in. Yeah, it's kind of related. Holy cow, a Sew Together bag was $100 on Etsy. That's nuts. You could learn to sew for less than that. Sorry. So these are the Journal and Doodle studies from Carrie Denker of Stone Soup for Five. If you're looking for a fun way to Bible study, I highly recommend those. So here's the Stone Soup for Five, if you needed to see that. So I keep those in there. There's how to, I printed out, I was reading Own Your Life with Mackenzie over at Bold Turquoise for Cultivating the Lovely. I do make some of my own booklets. And so this was one that I made. I printed out the Bible study and planner that went along with Own Your Life, and just printed it out and binded it. That way I could slip it in here. This size traveler's notebook is kind of an extra wide. You can't write in your books? Which, all of the books? And then just an extra blank one for sermon notes if I don't want to write them directly in the Bible. And then this little pocket has colored pencils. And then this has room for pens, but all my pens are out right now because I keep them on my desk. Yeah, I've written in my Bibles since accepting Christ, because I used to make notes in it. I used to highlight and underline different passages, and then I started writing in the margins. When I got older, I stopped writing. Like I used to do post-it notes and highlighting, and then I started writing in the margins. And now with the journaling Bible, of course, the margins are nice and big. So I do not. Traveler's Notebook at Barnes & Noble for $15. Purple leather. Ooh, that is good. That's a good price for a leather Traveler's Notebook. That's a very good price. So I'll do a quick flip through my journaling Bible. I know I've kept you guys over an hour already. This catch is going to be crazy long. So I'll show you. I don't do a lot of artwork. This would be probably the extent of artwork in my Bible. I do keep it limited to the margins. What you'll see over my text is inductive study marks. So that's the type of art that I do. And then I will use the margins for family trees. So thank you guys. So I like to write that so I can visualize, you know, all the who was begotten of who, because I tend to lose track of that. And it's interesting to look back and see that, you know, generations were not that far off. So let's see. Yeah, a lot of inductive marks and a lot of family trees. I keep an index in a book. A lot of them came from preceptcamden.com. And then I added some that I found that I was using, like that she didn't have on her list, or she or he, I'm not even sure actually. And so I've added ones that made sense to me. So this is, I keep the journaling Bible not to cover it in artwork and not to illuminate the verses. I know some people use it for that. They use it more as an art journal than a Bible journal, I think. But it's, that's not what my goal is. My goal is to mark my notes in the margins, and just kind of going like that. Ooh, margins of 3 inches would be awesome. So I'll do a lot of lettering. That's the decorative stuff that I do in mine. So I don't cover the text. I make notes. Like the only thing I'll write, inductive study is kind of word study, like looking at, you know, marking characters and then going deeper into the word by studying those things. Yeah, so we all need those reminders. So yeah, there's the tribes of Israel, things like that. We got home just a little bit ago. All right. So that is how I use that. Yes, Kay Arthur and preceptcamden.com is a good source for the full she has a very comprehensive index of inductive study marks. So I am going to sign off here because it is way late. And I've got to get these children ushered off into bed. So thank you guys for hanging in tonight. Yeah, they've got a lot of new ones coming out this year. The ESV. I am using the ESV version, which I like. I still have my NASB at home, and I do look up other things in concordances, but I'm journaling in the ESV. So I will see you guys tomorrow around sometime in the afternoon if you want to hop on and find out, you know, whether we do or do not celebrate Halloween. You know, the great debate, which I don't debate. It's not a debate issue for me, honestly. It's just a thing. So that's it. It's late. Let's go to bed. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for hanging with me.